What is up, factors, tractors, and syntactors? Thanks for sitting down at the message desk with me this week. Today, I'm doing this. I'm sure everybody's been doing this. My camera angle seems weird, so I'm going to try to fix it here. Sometimes I sit down to make a video, and for the life of me, I can't remember how I've done this the past 800 times. So forgive me there. But I have a syntakt. Yay me. Surely nobody else in the influencer sphere has a syntakt or has made a video about this, right? Yeah, I'm probably the first. So let me introduce you to this. It's a 12-track drum machine. It's kind of like the rhythm. It's kind of like the digitakt. It's kind of like the machine drum. It's kind of like the model cycles, excuse me. It is kind of everything shoved into a singular box. And a little more on top of that, which is really rad. I was kind of in a unique position in that I had literally no knowledge of what this was. I just knew that it was an Electron product, and like I said in my last video, I'm basically an Apple guy now. I'm that dude that's waiting outside the Apple store for the new iPhone with a slightly better camera and more ways to track where you are at all times. So I knew I was going to buy it. I knew that was going to be a thing. And so I really wasn't too worried about it. I just knew, hey, when this comes out, the amount of money will be taken out of my account. And eventually this thing will show up on my door and I'll figure out what it is then. So I got a bit of it spoiled for me by my boss and by other people who knew what it was and was very excited to tell me. And that's great. I didn't want to hear a single sound until I got it, and I didn't. I did a little stream, which I think is public. Maybe it's not public. I don't know if it's just for patrons. I haven't decided, or I don't remember. One of those. But I'll make it public now. Sure, why not? You can go watch that and watch my very first impressions. Watch me tinker with this thing for the very first time and get kind of frustrated about things and kind of express my discontent about a few things, which I'll explain, but also have a lot of fun and get really, really into some of these sounds. Yeah, so look, man, similar to everybody else making videos, this is a necessity, right? I could sit around and wait for like a month and a half or multiple months until I have a deeper understanding of this thing to make a video, but the content machine must keep churning. You must consume, and I must help you with that consumption by throwing this fairly useless video at you where I go, this is great and not great in some ways. Clickbait? The syntakt isn't that great? Question mark, question mark? Thumbnail? No, I'm not going to do that. It's probably just going to be called, this is a syntakt video. Sorry, this is a syntakt video. And sorry I look so greasy. Do I look as shiny to you as it looks to me right now? Because if that is the case, yikes. But hey, I'm a sweaty guy. I work so hard for you. My face looks like this, so your feed can look like this. Anyway, so thanks for indulging me in that very long intro. I have a lot of fun jamming with that. I have a couple other jams to show you that are not as good, but that's how it goes, right? With a new machine, you're not making your top material because you're kind of figuring out what the hell the machine does and how the hell to use it. So I'll show you those and kind of just talk through it a little bit. But yeah, this is really a video dedicated to just going, yay, thing new, me love, and don't love in some ways. You like how I keep teasing that? Look, I'll cut to the chase. The bottom line is that I like the syntakt, but I don't love it yet. I think I will love it eventually. And as I'm saying this, I realize that I'm sounding like one of those DC fanboys that saw Batman versus Superman and came out of the theater like, no, yeah, I'll love that eventually. I will find a way to love it. I will love it. And I will make a longer one happen to the world. That was the Justice League. It doesn't matter. That's kind of how I feel that I sound. But I hope that I can maintain credibility a little bit here. I'm not a simp for Electron products. I just happen to really enjoy them. And there are some things in this box that I very much don't enjoy currently. But I think there are some ways around that. So let's talk about those things really quickly. And then we can get into the positives. I love all this stuff because I feel like this is just my instinct. I don't really watch gear videos anymore because ever since I started making them, watching them makes me want to kill myself. And I can't really explain why that is. It's not really the creator's fault. I think it's just because like I make the sausage, so I don't want to eat the sausage now. I do want to eat the sausage now. Hot, sexy boys with big sausages hit my line. Sorry, Mom. Not sorry for being gay, but sorry that you had to hear me say those words out loud. And I'm not gay, but I am still sorry that you had to hear me say that. Thank you for the money. Please keep giving it to me. Anyway, the things I don't like, I've interrupted my own line of thought. Let me finish it. What I think most people are going to do is go, yes, syntakt. Ah! And then, sorry dogs. And then at the end of the video, go, now here are the things I don't like. Here's a couple things I don't like, etc. If they do that at all. A lot of synfluencers don't, and that's okay because they're trying to maintain good, relationships with manufacturers who've probably sent this to them. That's fine and well and good, but I'm built different, heavier, boobier, and sweatier. So I'm going to tell you straight up the things I don't like right away, and then we can kind of get onto the gushing because most people probably want to figure out what I don't like rather than the gushing part. And I realize the irony of talking about that while I've been talking for 10 straight minutes, but I will put time codes so you can just jump ahead to me being annoyed about various things. Thing number one that does not jive with me in the slightest is that you have all these machines, and that's fucking sick. I love that you have so many of these machines that you can go through. There are different ones for different tracks, analog or digital machines. And it kind of helpfully tells you which have access to digital and which have access to analog. Totally missed that at first and was getting annoyed not knowing which machines went where. And then I looked with my eyes and saw, oh, hey, how about that? It's actually pretty intuitive. Don't get so annoyed. What I don't like is that when you load up a machine, let me load up a blank pattern here. When you load up a machine, you have this kind of initial pattern, which is fine, right? That's the digitact way of doing things. That's fine. What I don't jive with, what doesn't rustle my jimmies in the right way, is that the settings on these machines are very abnormal or very affected, right? So on the Digatone, for instance, when you open a new track, a new pattern, it's just sine waves. And that's perfect because what I want is sine waves, and then I can build on top of that. And if I want to, I can load a preset myself, right? What the syntakt likes to do for you is, let's say I just want to load a percussion carbon, right? I've loaded that now. You might think, oh, that's the starting point, right? But no, if you do this, probably not decay, but that is the spot where everything is at 0 and it's just the baseline. Or like the snare, for example, if you listen to this, it has all this modulation on it. That's the starting point. That's what I want. For me, personally, this is a very, very personal preference, which is that I want to start simple and then build on top of that. I want to understand what the basic of the machine is so that I can understand how to iterate on it a bit. So when it starts with what is essentially a preset, I feel like I'm having to dial the knobs back to 0 every single time, and it's a little annoying, especially when, I guess what I'm trying to say ultimately, because I feel like I can't word this in a way that makes sense and doesn't make me sound like a little piss baby, but ultimately what I'm trying to do is have it so that I understand what the starting point is, so that I understand what the logical endpoint might be. Because if I open this, like let's go to an analog machine. If I open FM, and this is what I hear, I think, okay, that's the starting point, so it'll only get more intense from here, right? But no, if I change the tuning and all the FM stuff, that's a much more normal kick. And that is a much more normal starting point that makes a lot more sense. So when I start opening up the FM decay time and start bringing in that FM, what's happening is a lot more logical to me, a lot more understandable, and I'm able to internalize it a lot better because I understand what my 0 point is, what my starting point is. I don't know if that makes sense. Comment down below if you think I'm ridiculous. A lot of people were kind of flaming me for it in my stream. Like, it's not that big a deal. What do you expect it to be? What I expect it to be is sine waves, plain, so that I can iterate on top of it. If I wanted presets, I would load a preset, whatever. Someone in my chat had a great idea to just make a template where all the machines are initialized and just have that be your starting point. Great idea. Kind of annoying because every time you switch patterns, it would go back to being that thing. And every time you switch machines, it would revert to being not initialized. So it's not a perfect solution. I don't know. I wish there was an option. Electron, if you're watching, give me it. Give it to me for free. The consumer. I don't like it. And you must give it to me. Mario, why'd you do this to me, dude? Yeah, that's the number one thing that bothers me. It's not a huge deal. But it did really put me off when I started. because I feel like it hinders my ability to learn the device. I'm going on about this way too long. I'm sorry. I'm trying to explain myself, and the way I do that is by talking a lot. Something else that drives me crazy is that not all the machines have the same filter types. Why? ¿Por qué electrón? Why? I'm sure there's a good reason. I'm sure it's a hardware limitation or something. But it drives me crazy that I can't put a bandpass. I'm going to say that, and then there is going to be a bandpass on this. Okay, there is a bandpass on this. It drives me crazy that I can't put a bandpass on everything. I want to put a bandpass on everything. Or I want to have at least a one of these. I don't know what you call that. A 2-pole thing? I don't know. The one what can be a high pass and a low pass at the same time. You need that sometimes because I like to use the high pass to boost my low end. But then if it's all buzzy on the high end, I'd like to be able to dial that back a bit. The next thing I don't like, these are much more minor things. Like if this was like an 8 on my annoyance scale, which is still probably way too high, like a 7. This is like a 4, and everything else below it is kind of 4s. I don't feel like it's iterative, really. I feel like it's a greatest hits CD, and that's okay. Greatest hits CDs have a great utility, right? There's no bad tracks. You don't skip any songs because they're all good songs. This is kind of a similar situation here. It's hard to go wrong because it's the best things about some of their best devices shoved into a box, and it has overbridge, and that's tight and great, and it's in this form factor. What bums me out is that it doesn't feel like it's moving the line forward at all. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything particularly special. And that sounds really mean to say, right? I'm not trying to be dismissive about the machine. I'm not trying to say that it's not really great because it sounds fantastic, but I wish that they had done something a little more different. I wish they had pushed the boundaries a little bit more because my favorite devices that they've made are the machines that have done that. The Digitone, a 4-track quad timbral FM synth that can also be a groove box, and that's amazing. This is just another drum machine, and there's so many of those already, and so many that they make already, so I'm less excited to have this. I'm more excited now that I've sold my Digitakt because I just never was using it. This is a perfect Digitakt replacement. I think it might even be a Digitakt killer, especially if you already own an Octatrack. I don't know why you would want to own an Octatrack and a Digitakt and this, but I don't know. I'm just a little bummed that it's not something new. It doesn't have to be the Octatrack. I just wish it was something a little more iterative, a little more fancy, a little more boundary pushing. I wish they had more effects, delay and reverb. Okay, really limited for a drum machine. Now, granted, in the machine menus themselves, you can get kind of funky with it. And there's some like bit reduction and sample reduction built into the machines, but like some compression would be good. Yell at me if I'm missing this. I have not done a deep dive, so it's possible that this effects button does something fancier that I don't fully understand yet because I haven't read the manual. Some, dedicated lo-fi effects, some master effects other than delay and reverb would be tight because delay and reverb only goes so far on drums. Maybe I want to crush my kick drum in some bit reduction or whatever. And there are some machines where you can do that, but I want, I don't know. I'm being nitpicky at this point. This is just things that I've noticed. I feel like people might want to know the things I don't like. That's kind of it, I guess. Let's listen to some jams, and then I'll talk about the stuff that I really do like. I'll see you in a minute. Can you tell that's the first thing I made? I can, because it's not very good. But I wanted to show it to you anyway, because it's important to see that the first steps on a machine are never fantastic. And for me, often the millionth steps on a machine aren't fantastic. But hey, that's what it is. It's fun. Here's another little one that I'm going to play just kind of shortly, because it's not that great, but it's a lot of fun. And here it is. I lied. I like that a lot more than I remembered liking it. That's sick. I'm awesome. Hell yeah, me. Love that. Yeah, so let's talk about some things I like now that I've spent like way too long harping on just a couple minor quibbles. It just rips. Unapologetically, the machine rips. And if you don't know what I mean by that, what I mean is it just sounds very good with a very little effort. And you know, if you've been watching me for a long time, you know I love that. You know that's a huge deal for me. I don't like trying hard. I don't like things being difficult. So when I'm able to just go, and a bass sounds that good that quickly, yeah, I love that. The chord little thing here is fantastic. It's really fun, really easy to use. I love the inversion, like the balance. Because you already have a ton of different chord types. Looks like 38 different chord types. Now I'm not going to be able to find whatever one it was before. Thank God for reload pattern. Rest in peace to the headset that just fell. It makes what is already a huge variety of chords a lot more easy to use because if you're like me and you don't know what chords work together, sometimes just using the same type of chord with different inversions can get you to some very interesting places, especially with transposition. So a lot of fun for experimentation there. The machine itself, like the sound it makes, just okay. It could be better. There could be more going on there, but I understand it's sort of just a function. It's not meant to be a synth, in terms of a melodic synth. It's just meant to be sort of there to augment other stuff you're doing. I think there's a ton of utility for it. But yeah, the sound engine itself is just okay. The synth bits, my favorite machine. It should surprise nobody because it sounds, dusty as hell. I love that. Thank you. Make everything bitsy and dusty, and it'll all work for me. Really great machine. The kick machines all smack. I haven't used all of them, so I guess I don't have the complete authority to say that. But I mean, man, you can take any of the kick machines that I have loaded up anyway. Like, let's just say BD Classic. Pretty classic kick. Oh. Oh. It's so easy to get to that really rumbly, hard-hitting bass drum so fast, and then very easily it's just a good kick. Take off the sweep if you want. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm probably overstating it, but that ability to just quickly dial up sounds, fantastic. Look, I feel like this video is too long already for what it is. I think my excitement and my passion for this sort of thing is definitely shining through here. But what I want to make very clear, sorry, I was just having a panic attack because this super glue bottle that has an open lid was tipped over and I was like, uh-oh, did I just super glue a bunch of stuff to my desk? I didn't, so yay me. Anyway, I hope that my enthusiasm and my love for these products is showing through and my desire for them to be more and better. And that I don't just sound like a nitpicker because I don't really want to be that person necessarily. I'm not trying to be contrarian. Overall, I really like the device and I think it has a super solid place in my setup. As like I said, a dig attack killer. This is going to be what is sampled by the Octatrack. This is going to be what is, alongside the Octatrack when I slice samples, when I'm doing my normal Octatrack business, fuck using drum samples for the most part. I'm just going to use this and it's going to sound fantastic. So that's great. I think that's worth the price of admission alone. A great sounding drum machine with a lot of machine variety that can, be multi-tracked very easily. Huge deal. Do I think you should buy this if you already have a dig attack? No. Do I think you should buy this unless you're going to sell the dig attack? Do I think you should buy this if you already have a Digitone? Yes, it is very different. Digitone to me is not a drum machine. This is kind of, if you wanted the Digitone to be a drum machine and you're upset that it's not really dedicated to that, that's this. This is also a nice step up from the Cycles if you like that. Should you buy this if you have an Octatrack and nothing else? Yeah, I think that's sick. That's also, like $2,500. So that's between you and God. I have like $2,500 of toys at this point in my life. I probably have about $1,000 of paint just sitting on my desk. Not just on my desk, but in my life, I probably do have that much. So look, money, it's all just paper stuff, and we're all going to die someday. So spend your money however you want, so long as it's not irresponsible or hurting anybody. I think this thing is great. I would recommend it to a lot of people. It sounds great. It's fun. It's easy to work with. It's very familiar if you know the Digitact and the Digatone. If you're familiar with Electron's workflow at all, there's really nothing crazy going on here. But similarly, there's really nothing crazy going on here. There's really nothing that, this is not a deep pool to jump into, I guess is my point. And not everything has to be. Not everything should be, because you really don't need multiple Octatracks in your life in terms of the machine's depth and what it asks of you. But I feel like they could have pushed the envelope a little further. I feel like this could have been something really special instead of just a very useful device. Hope that comes across right. Hope that makes sense. Electron, please love me and sponsor me. I just want the best for you, baby. Even if I make fun of you and your previous design decisions. And your current ones. I still love you. Oh, last annoying thing. This nice retrigger thing. It doesn't work for me when I record it. People have assured me that it does work when you record it, but it doesn't work for me. So someone smart, tell me down below how to make it work for me, because it doesn't do it no right or no good. And I'm not a fan of that. So one more gripe out the door. With that, I want to end this video. I had a lot of fun making it. I'm having a lot of fun making these videos. My passion for music has kind of come rushing back, and it feels so fucking good. I hope this comes across, because, oh my God, it feels like I can breathe again. And yeah, I don't know. I just have a lot of passion in me right now, and I want to share that with you guys. So if you like that, if you like these videos, if you like what I'm doing, head over to Patreon, throw me $1 or $2, and I can continue to buy toys and complain about how many toys I have. And my wife can continue contemplating divorce because her husband is a child. Yeah, but seriously, thank you so much for watching. Could have chose anybody to hang out with on the internet this week, anybody at all, but instead he chose me, a guy with 2 sleeping pugs and a ukulele on his desk. And that, I think, is really cool. I will be back next week with a new video. No clue at all what it's going to be about. I think I'm going to talk about a project I've been working on. Just having fun with it. Maybe I'll iterate on one of these things and try to talk about song progression on the syntakt a little bit. I don't think it's going to be that different than the Digitact and the Digatone, which is, again, a problem. But it's something I want to try, and I want to give this thing its fair shrift. So yeah, join me for that. And until then, I'm Daniel. Those are my dogs. This is the Messy Desk, and I love you more than I love having a new Electron device to love and hate a little bit. I'll see you next week.